Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome to The Long Dark. This is going to be our Christmas game for this year. It's not super Christmas, but it's the best thing I could come up with on a very short notice. And I thought it might be fun. We're going to give this a shot. I've played through a little bit of this, so I've got some experience with it. And this is a survival game set in Canada, the great land of Canada, and I just want to make sure that this is working, so give me one moment, because I actually haven't recorded this yet. Alright, cool, yeah, this one's working, so that's good. As a weird side note, apparently this game, at the moment, is set to do screenshots when you press F9. Probably not the best idea to set that up, considering that Fraps is a pretty widely used recording software. Regardless. So right now, there's no story mode, because it's an alpha, so we're going to go to Sandbox. Ooh. What is this? This is something new. Wander the long road. So wildlife won't attack you. In this one's reasonably challenging. And this one is punishingly challenging. They didn't have a difficulty thing before. Let's go with normal, because that's what I'm used to. We will do the male character, and I think Mystery Lake is a slightly neater map overall. Coastal Highway isn't bad, it's just Mystery Lake's a little bit cooler to me. So that's the story that we've got as of right now. A mystery geomagnetic storm has brought your plane crashing down in the northern Canadian wilderness. How long can you survive? And that's all the game is at the moment, is just a how long can you survive simulator. And they give you some really cool quote from somebody, kind of like in Call of Duty. And how many frames we're getting? We're getting 15, 16 frames a second. Now, I know this isn't running that well, but this seems to be the normal case anyway. I'm running this at high graphics settings. I wonder if maybe... Let me see if I could change that, maybe make it a little bit better. Apparently not. Alright, so apparently I guess you can't change graphics settings while in-game, or maybe it's something to do with recording, I don't know. But I've changed them to medium. Let's see how that does for me. Also, it's going to load us on a new map. Oh good, now instead of 15 we're sitting at 20 FPS. I think the game's just a little bit badly optimized for outside because of how big the map is. And I don't think it's the game's fault necessarily, I think it's just that... Ooh, rabbit. That, it's just not very optimized. Ooh, look, a deer. It's probably completely frozen solid, I would imagine. Yep. So, as you would imagine from a survival game, the purpose of this game is, at the moment, there will be a story mode later, is to figure out how long you can survive out here. And resources are limited, as you would imagine. Ooh, sweet stuff. So we're a little bit warmer in here. So let's see. We're getting cold because we're obviously outside. We're pretty hungry, a little bit, not too fatigued, not too thirsty. And the reason that we're so cold is because we've got kind of crappy clothing for being out in the Canadian wilderness. We're like wearing jeans and like a thin wool sweater, and it feels like 30 degrees outside. Okay, that's an empty can. That is an empty bag. Ooh, we've got rifle ammunition. That's actually kind of useful. Not without the rifle, of course. Oh. Did they make it... See, now it says cold. Did they change this so that now you can heat up food? Oh, I haven't found an MRE. Oh, that's a lot of calories. So they must have updated this game recently while I wasn't paying attention. Oh boy. Can't really get the rabbits right now. Don't really have anything to get them with. Can't use the deer at the moment because it's frozen solid. The only way we could use that deer is if it was still warm, or if we still had a we had a knife, possibly we could use it. Now I'm not sure which way we should go, but we should probably be doing it relatively quickly because I'm getting cold. And if you get too cold, the way this game works, I'm explaining it because I'm assuming not too many people have played it, I don't know. The way this game works is that if you get too cold, you'll get maximum cold and your condition will stop dropping. Your condition is kind of like health. And the only way you can get condition back at the moment is to sleep. So you want to make sure not to get too cold. Now, as of right now, it doesn't seem to affect anything else, but I think later on they might update it so that it affects things like how like if you're too cold, you know, you would have difficulty using your fine motor skills to do things like start fires and stuff like that, which is definitely a real problem. I'm really hoping to find a house of some sort around here soon. At the moment, the way the game seems to work is you want to find a house or a structure of some sort so that you can stay the night there. Not even stay the night, but you can warm up a bit and do some looting. Because you're not going to find any food out here other than deer, and unless we have a gun, we're really not taking down a deer. We do have flares. We can use flares to scare away a wolf. So that's one thing. I recognize that bridge. We're close to the dam. We don't want to go in the dam. There's a scary wolf in there. Let's see, other things to note, because I'm going to be walking for a little bit. The flares will slightly warm you. That's not their main purpose, obviously. They make a lot of noise, which has a chance of scaring wolves. It doesn't always scare wolves, but it can. So you can use that as a defense mechanism, or as a slightly risky offense mechanism, though I don't think it's guaranteed to actually work, because I've seen it fail quite a couple times. And if it fails, you've got to fight a wolf, and fighting wolves are dangerous. They almost kill you. And I've only played this game I've only done maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 6 run-throughs through this game, so I still don't know everything. Yep, there's the dam. We could go in the dam, but there's a scary wolf inside, and until I got a gun, or at least a better weapon of some sort, I really don't want to mess with a wolf. Bye, dear. We don't have a lamp. We don't have any firearms. I dropped my pork and beans. Where? Crap. There it is. My cold pork and beans. I guess maybe you can heat them up and they will... I mean, they'd obviously be more appetizing. Though they are fully cooked, so I wouldn't see a reason. Maybe it's... if you eat them cold, they cool you down. Or you lose some of your heat or something. That would make sense, actually. That would make sense. If you ate cold food, it would cool you down. And if you ate warm food, it might possibly warm you up. Interesting to note. I'm glad to see they're still updating this game. When I got this game, it wasn't too long ago, but it did seem a little bit unfinished, and it looks like they're starting to put more work into it, which I'm really happy about. We're also getting very cold. Though I think it might be too windy to set up a fire right now. And it wouldn't exactly be super beneficial. I'm going to start running now because I'm worried about getting too cold. And having that MRA, I'm actually not too worried about calories at the moment. Right, I don't know what's down that way. I do know to the right there's some sort of cabin. Eventually. And we really need to get somewhere. Since I don't know what that way is, we're going to go to the cabin. Let's see, they said they're going to put a story mode into the game. They're going to give you... oh, look, I'm cold. They're going to give you, you know, a bit more backing behind, you know, why you crashed. Right now, all we know is it's a strange geomagnetic storm.
Can't feel my hands.
Don't worry, you're fine. Also, that yellow text. Ugh. They should... I mean, I know it's good because the game is white, so it actually makes sense, but they could make white text and just give it a black outline. That could work too. Or vice versa, black text with white outline. What am I saying? I was saying something and then I totally forgot what it was. Oh yeah, they're going to give you a story for why you're why you're out here, and I'm assuming you're going to have an extraction point, because the thing about this game is that, at least from what I can tell, you can't indefinitely stay out here. There's not really there's not enough resources. You run out of food, and even though you can get more food, you run out of bullets, you run out of clothing, because you use clothing to repair other clothing, stuff like that. Let's get inside. We are cold. So the cool thing about being inside is you will slowly warm up, because, you know, it's not necessarily warmer, but you don't get the wind chill. And then in some places there's fireplaces, not in this one, but you can use fireplaces to warm you up along with cooking food, melting snow, what's the other one? Purifying water, cool stuff like that. So we're gonna loot this place. Is that it? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm wearing, isn't it? Let me see. Our jeans are better. I'm looking at the condition here. This thin wool sweater is better. Better clothing usually gives you a slight boost to warmth and windproof. Obviously warmth has to do with how slow you lose
That'll
heat.
come in handy.
And how like quickly you heat up. I think warmth has to do with how slow you lose, or how quickly you heat up. Wind chill is how slow you lose heat. That would make more sense, yeah. And so you want to keep those numbers as high as you can. Let's see, I think I mostly looked through this. You can sleep in bed. Sleeping in beds reduces fatigue, though it does increase hunger and thirst, because obviously when you're sleeping, you're still using resources. Though it does seem a little odd. I'm fairly certain that when you're sleeping, you're using less resources than if you were awake. And this game doesn't seem to quite reflect that. You seem to burn about the same amount of calories being asleep or awake. And I don't think that's correct. But, you know, maybe that's something to work on. Maybe it is correct. You know, maybe I'm completely wrong. But I thought that's how it was. I thought, you know, that being asleep, you did burn less calories. But maybe in a survival, maybe in a survival situation, that changes. Oh, sweet, a can opener. That's the cool thing. Ooh, heavy sweater. The cool thing about can openers is because, you know, in most games, you let's see. We're changing that for the thin wool sweater. Oh, that's better, yeah. Obviously, in most games, you know, you get a can of food, and it's like, here, let's pull up food. And it's like, oh, sweet, I could just eat this can of food. But you're assuming that you have a can opener or some other device for opening cans on hand. And if you didn't have a can opener, it doesn't mean you couldn't get into a can, but you'd have to employ some less than civilized measures to open it.
Hope nobody needs this
Herbal
anymore.
tea? What the heck is this? Promiseful rest? This is a new item. 5 cups of herbal tea. So what, you just add that to your fresh water supply? That's interesting. Ooh, simple tools, nice. Okay, so yeah, it looks like they are definitely updating the game. From what I heard, they had been, but, you know, I hadn't actually seen them update it myself. So it's kind of cool to actually see it in action. Okay, so let's go to the last house, loot it. Look out for wolves. Let's go in here really quick. I think there's a dead body that we can loot, usually. Sometimes. Okay, not today. There is a bit of wood. Ooh, and a fireplace. We may use that in a bit. So, let's go in here first. And what do we got? Hey, look, a frozen corpse. That hasn't been there before. Sometimes people have things in them, sometimes they don't. Ah, sweet. This is really cool, actually, because sometimes this game does get pretty dark and you can't see very well. So if you light it, you can get some better vision. Also, when it actually turns night, you literally cannot see when it's, like, dark outside. The only reason we can see inside is because it's light outside. Now, there is a little cheat you can kind of use with these without using any fuel. Just by, because lighting it doesn't cost anything because it's a mechanical lighter. You can just flash it. I don't know. A little bit cheap, but I thought it was kind of cool. Got some cloth. Use cloth for repairs. Ooh, a down ski jacket. I think that's better than whatever I've got. Actually, I don't think I was wearing anything in terms of a jacket. I was just wearing a sweater. Let's see. Metal container. And, oh yeah, I guess I haven't been showing it much, but the game has a couple different stats. It has weight, which I'm using imperial rather than metric because I'm a silly American. We have condition, which means that food will actually go bad over time. Certain foods go bad faster, like canned food goes bad really slowly, whereas raw meat goes bad a lot quicker, which doesn't make sense because it's like 40 degrees outside. Well, it's 40 degrees in here and it's like 20 degrees outside, but, you know, whatever. Maybe it's because it freezes, and then once it freezes, you can't use the meat. But I would just think heating it over a stove would fix that. I don't know. And then you have calories. And you have to manage your calories in this game. Everything you do costs some calories. Time in general, if you're using time, you're using calories. And stuff like that. Sleeping uses calories. You know, they tell you how many calories you're going to burn if you sleep. We should probably drink something. Because we're thirsty. Time does move at a relatively quick rate. So, that would explain why, you know, it's already 5:30. And the optimal time to be outside, I think, is between 2 and 6. After that, it starts getting colder. So let's eat a candy bar. I always try to eat the lower condition items first so we don't have to worry about them going bad. It's funny, I didn't even know the condition thing existed until I got a couple playthroughs through the game, because until you live long enough to worry about your condition... Oh man, it's cold out here. Oh man, it's really cold out here. Until you live long enough to worry about your condition, it isn't really a problem. And man, they do need to optimize the game just a little bit. I'm playing in medium settings and it's pretty bad out here. Alright. We have, let's do an accelerant. Doing an accelerant, by the way, increases your chance of success. I've got a 50% chance. With accelerant, it's a 90% chance. Alright, are we... No, we're still getting too cold out here, so we don't want to stand too long out here. So we could cook our pork and beans with a can opener, which I will. So I'm guessing that maybe will give us additional heat when eating it. Pork and beans warmed up, and I'm assuming over time the pork and beans would in fact cool down. Oh, it's open. Okay. Well, let's eat that now then, I guess. I think you can hold up to 2,500 calories. After that, they will save your remaining food. But, you know, you probably don't want to do it too often. Alright, there's 16 minutes of fire left. We should do a little bit with it. Oh, they updated this screen as well. This wasn't here originally. Alright, the fire's about to go out. Basically, when you boil water, you make unsafe water, because technically any of the snow out here isn't exactly safe. Even if it may be coming from the sky, it's not safe once it hits the ground. Necessarily, it could still, you know, be safe, but then we can boil it afterwards and it makes safe water. So see, we could drink this. It does have a slight possibility of getting us sick, though I haven't actually gotten sick from it yet, so I don't know. Inside and outside you can forage for wood. You can get tinder and reclaimed wood inside. Reclaimed wood is like a leg off a chair. While outside you can get hardwoods and softwoods, which burn better, but obviously you will get cold doing it outside, so you want some decent equipment and to make sure it's not super snowy. Harvest. Harvest is a cool thing where they allow you to take a piece of clothing you don't want, or something that's about to fall apart. You can tear it up and use it as cloth. So we're going to do that with these gloves that we're not using. You generally want to do that with most equipment you're not using. Like, we don't want to do that with the hat we're wearing. But we could do that with the thin wool sweater. Different items take different amounts of time to harvest, but at the moment we can't really go outside because it's too cold. So this would be a good way to use up some time. And what you can do with cloth is you can then use it to repair items. Now, at the moment we can't because we don't have a sewing kit, but if we find a sewing kit, we can then use this cloth to repair our better items, which will make them last longer, and will usually make them warmer. My jeans are better, right? Yeah. You can also You can harvest like tools to get you scrap metal. Scrap metal is useful for repairing tools, and it's also useful for making a fishing line, because you can do ice fishing in this game. Like, we could harvest that. And generally, like, if you get multiple can openers, you don't need multiple can openers, because can openers wear down pretty slowly. I think you can also harvest cloth to turn it into bandages, so bandages aren't too hard to get. But yeah, we need some sort of tool. The only thing we could repair would be something like our lantern. But we don't have any scrap metal. But we don't need to, it's okay. We're thirsty again. Let's drink some soda. If you don't like number management games, this would probably be boring if you don't like that type of thing. But if this is your type of thing, like it is for me, then this is a fun thing. Think this guy's gonna mind if we sleep on his bed? Probably not. We could have slept on any bed, but we had to sleep on the one with the dead guy. Let's see. Trying to think of anything else to say. Oh yeah, look, it's super dark now. This isn't just me, this is the game. Let's give you a nice... Let's take a quick look outside and then come back in before the wolves eat us. Oh yeah, it's dark out here. See, without the light, completely pitch, just about. Did they update the sky? I don't remember it looking quite like that. I'm not sure. I'm asking you guys, and you probably haven't even seen the game. But anyway, let's see, what time is it? It's about 10:30. We basically just need to use time until about 6 when it starts to get lighter, though it is very cold still then, so we probably will wait longer. I don't want to waste your guys' time, so we'll be back in just a moment when it's about noon or so. And, we'll manage some sleep, and we'll probably harvest some wood. That's a good thing to do when you're waiting for time to go away, is just to sleep and get some wood. Oh yeah, another thing. There's only so much wood you can forage within a building. Outside, you can do it unlimitedly, because obviously there's a lot of wood outside. But inside, you can only forge so much wood, which keeps you from having, from sitting around so long. Like, after a while, you're going to burn all of the wooden chair legs, and you're going to have to go somewhere else and get more wooden chair legs. Alright, so let's see what happens when we drink a cup of herbal tea. I just made some. Okay, that increases your calories a bit. And it doesn't make me colder. It may have made me slightly hungrier, though. Alright, it's 8:30. Let's just go out. I'm getting bored. That's the problem, is that with this game, is that when you first start the game... Oh man, it's cold. Yeah, because it's still so early in the morning. When you first start this game, there's a very... You don't have a lot of clothing. And that's what you basically have to do through the game, is collect clothing and food. Among other things, tools and whatnot. So the best time to go out is between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. That's when it's the warmest. The problem is that's really boring. I mean, it's not bad. It's not the game's fault, obviously. It's, one of the features of the game, is that it does that. I don't remember those birds doing that either. There's so many new things. I guess my problem is that when you first start out, it's very difficult. But I think that's the nature of the game. And I'm starting to get better at it, so it's not as difficult. Because like the first few times you play, you're basically expected not to make it past the first night. And that's what you do. Like, I spent most of my supplies. Like, I'm almost out of food now and water. I spent most of my supplies just trying to make it through the night. And I don't know. I think they could use a little bit more balancing in terms of when you're sleeping, not consuming quite as much hunger and thirst. It seems a little unbalanced to me, but maybe it's not. Maybe in a survival situation, your body does indeed use more resources. And I know it does for things like effort-inducing things, but what about when you're just sitting down and, ripping a sock apart? With some scissors or something. I'm assuming it's scissors because I hear scissors in the audio file that plays. But, when you're just like ripping a sock apart, like, why does that consume so many calories and thirst? And why does sleeping consume so many? I'm not so sure about that.
That'll come in handy.
Ah, sweet. Water. Ooh, and another rifle round for the rifle I still don't have. Well, I mean, if worse comes to worse, I could throw it at somebody and scare them. I think up here, actually, is a really good spot. We're going to go up here, and that'll probably be the end of it. Up here is a really good spot. That is a wolf. We need to be careful of that. It's the Ranger Lookout spot, I think. I only just found it on my last playthrough, so I actually didn't know it existed. Oh, man, we're getting cold. Run. But it's actually a really good spot. They have a lot of really good supplies and a stove inside. And it's amazing. There's a dead guy up here somewhere. You can always tell where dead people are because there's hawks flying around. Hello, dead person. What do you have on you?
Freezing.
Ooh, a down ski jacket. I already have one of those, but thank you. I can use yours for cloth. So, see, now my condition's dropping. Now, it doesn't drop that quickly, but it does take a little bit to get back condition. You have to be sleeping for a bit. Like, each hour you sleep gets back maybe, I don't know, like 3 or 5% condition. So you don't want to lose it that quickly if you can help it. It's not uncommon to lose a lot of condition while freezing, especially early game. I did that a lot. Another thing I think does maybe need a little bit of balancing. So, as you proceed through the game, and I haven't even gotten some of the better stuff. I've just gotten some of like the mid-grade stuff. Like, some like, you know, a heavy jacket and stuff like that. Just like one item. But as you proceed through the game, you get better stuff, which allows you to not get as cold out in, you know, heavy weather. And you can even start to warm up in some of the warmer parts of the day outside, which is really cool. But the problem I have is that in heavy weather, your clothes deteriorate faster. I'm not so sure that's right. I would understand clothes deteriorating at a constant rate throughout the game, but if the weather's if it's really cold outside, I don't understand why your clothes would deteriorate faster. That doesn't make sense to me. I think that could use a little bit of balancing as well. Because I'll be outside at 6 in the morning and it'll be really cold outside, you know, so I won't, you know, but I have my heavy jacket, which means I can withstand it. But why is my jacket deteriorating faster? Because it's, you know, it's like 10 degrees outside or 0 degrees outside. Fahrenheit, sorry. I'm using the Fahrenheit scale because I'm a silly American. And, you know, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Okay, so we want to go... Is there anything else around here? I don't think. Want to go up in the lookout tower because we're cold and it's warm up there. We'll start a fire in there while we derp around. Lookout tower is actually cool for a couple of things. One, you know, it offers supplies and cool stuff. Two, it gives you a nice view of the landscape. This is also one of the few doors I've seen that you can actually open and close, which I think is kind of cool. Alright, let's start a fire. Right now we only have wood matches, but if we got cardboard matches, they have a slightly lower chance of success, but we get a lot more of them. So, oh yeah, every time you start a fire, you get a 1% increase to the chance that you can start a fire next time. Which is cool. That means the longer you're alive, the better chance you have of doing it in the future. So you want to save your worst equipment for later. A hatchet! This is the first time I've seen one. Ah, sweet. Ah, sweet. Does that make foraging wood take less time? It does. Instead of 20 minutes, it takes 12. Ah, neato. I have not had a hatchet yet. That is exciting. Oh, sweet. More rifle ammo for the rifle I don't have. Ooh, and a hunting knife. This is an extremely good weapon. Not weapon. I mean, it is a good weapon. Ah, sweet. Water purification tablets. A bandage. Oh, man. This is so good. This is actually the best run I've had so far. Oh, radio. Oh, wait. The electromagnetic storm knocked it out. Oh, no. What do you mean it's cold? It's all warm in here now. Alright, so, oh yeah, and this is an optional spawn spot for the rifle, but it didn't spawn here today. So, yeah, this actually isn't a bad spot. It's really far away from everything else, so it's not good for that, obviously. I'm gonna make the fire last a bit longer. But, in terms of, like, a good spot to find, this isn't a bad one. It usually has some better equipment. Like, I got a knife here before. I got a can opener here before. And it usually gives you some food, so it's usually always worth the hike up. Also gonna make some tea. Help quench our thirst. It also gives us a little bit of calories. Anyway, this was just kind of a look into the game, and you know, I like these type of games. They're fun to me. And on short notice, I really didn't have anything else that I could think of for a Christmas type of special. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. Did that warm us up? Oh, it did. Oh, what's that? What's that mean? Does that mean I get like a defense against the cold for a bit? Kind of? That's what I would imagine. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, this was a cursory look through the game. If anyone else is actually interested in me playing more of this game, because this is actually a pretty good run I've got going right now, I wouldn't mind playing more of it if anyone was interested. So let me know. And I might do more later. Let's heat up that herbal tea. And last thing before we go, I want to take a nice look around the landscape. There's a lot of trees, so it isn't that... Oh, we need more water. Okay, fine then. It's a nice look around the landscape, to be sure. And, though it is a little bit hard to see sometimes. Heat up a little bit of water. They seem to have balanced boiling water. Like, for some reason, every 0.2 gallons, which equates to something else in metric, and I could actually change the game to tell it in metric, but I like gallons, because gallons make sense to me. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, before, for some reason, boiling water took an awful long time, and I'm not quite sure why. But, let's see, yeah, add some more unsafe water. But they seem to have balanced that just a bit, because it doesn't take that long to boil water, you know. Like, I can boil a whole pot of water, you know, in maybe 10 minutes. I don't know, and they made it take, like, an awful long time for some reason, and I'm not sure why. What am I trying to do? I'm actually not too low on anything. So yeah, last thing I want us to do before we finish off here is go outside, take a look around at the landscape. It's definitely got an interesting visual style. Very, obviously not high graphical, but I don't think that's a problem. I think it does what it needs to do. It's very pastel colored, and I really like that. That's where we came from down there, where that wolf was. Over that way is that little cabin that we stayed in for a bit. And let's take a look around. Basically, there's a whole map to this, and I don't know what the whole thing is yet. I've gotten a few connecting links between buildings as I played, but as a whole I don't know what the map looks like, and I don't really want to. I'm having fun exploring it slowly. Looks like that's another interesting area over there, possibly. But yeah, it's an alpha right now, The Long Dark. It's a fun game, to be sure. And I hope you guys enjoyed our little look through of it. And I hope you guys have a good Christmas day. It's... Yeah, and stuff. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time. Let me know if you want more. And, yeah, I'm gonna go eat food and stuff. Bye!